What up, boys and girls? Greetings and salutations, as they say in the South. Pretty sure they say that in the South. Gabe and Joshua, Mike Perdomo, David G. What up? I hope I picked the right one. Another blustery day here in TUCSON, Arizona. Charlie, still not in Hawaii. That is correct. You've hit the nail on the head. What up, Grumpy? Jacob the guy? Happy noon hour. Let me straighten out the tripod here. It's so crooked. Here's our first heavy of the day. Wait, where'd it go? Serious heavy. Matthew says it is the first day of assigned seating on Southwest, so very interesting. Of course, David G and Grumpy bringing up the news of the day. UPS announcing that the MD-11 will not return. Now, I haven't heard anything on FedEx, but that is indeed sad news for aviation enthusiasts and tri-jet enthusiasts. So that is correct. UPS will not be returning the MD-11 to service. Delana saying hello from Winnipeg, Canada. Air King Flyer, what up? How's it going, sir? Another windy and almost chilly day here in Tucson. Yeah, Jacob the guy, I'm hopeful that FedEx will still do it and Western Global will, but we will see. We will see what happens. It is indeed sad, but yes. The news of the day, of course, the MD-11, for UPS at least, will not return to service. First arrival of the show will be SkyWest 6499, the Phoenix to Tucson shuttle that is arriving. Here in the residence, the base, if you will, of Tucson, Arizona for the Pipster. You know, that's a good question. Any more tri-jets besides DeSalle? I don't believe so, but now I got to think about it. Air King Flyer with a very generous $3 super chat. Now we are down to $220 for a super stream. Traveling across the country to super stream with Carolina Aviation and broadcast from Raleigh-Durham, one of the fastest growing airports in America. That is factually accurate. And we may sneak in another airport. Who knows? So we need to, we're looking to raise $400 by February 11th. So thank you everybody who's been most generous in contributing. Air King's Flyer starting off the show with the $3 super chat. So we only need to raise 220 more US dollars. So big thank you, Air King Flyer.
Might want to think about dropping him a thank you note.
Thank you, Air King Flyer. You know, I think they'll have David G ask, how will the MD-11s get to the boneyard? Great question. The FAA will probably certify the aircraft to at least be flown or ferried, or they're going to have to just piece it apart. So I think they would probably have to certify before they could fly it again for a ferry flight. But yeah, or they'll have to take it apart. Good question. Excuse me. Kevin Kelly says in DFW it's cold and they are de-icing. Thank you guys for tuning in. Our next arrival, just a short minute away, will be SkyWest 5833 from Chicago O'Hare. I see the landing lights are on and the gear is down. And before I forget, our good friend Scott Kuiper with a birthday today. He's part of the birthday brigade. If you'd like to add your birthday so that we can give you a shout out if we do a live show on your birthday, just send me an email, pipsplanespottinglive@gmail.com, and we will add you to the birthday brigade list. Birthday brigade. Absolutely free, and we will celebrate. Dan Reeves, good evening to you. Josh Aldridge, good afternoon to you in the great state of Oklahoma. You know, Josh, I was just thinking about St. Louis and British Airways inaugural service, and maybe if we can, we'll see what, I think that's like a Thursday, but I'm not sure. I have to figure out when the inaugural day is, but so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that the other day, along with the Royal Jordanian inaugural service to DFW. Another blustery day and cool in TUCSON. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, liking and subscribing, being part of the action. So, Josh, I might use my last good vacation day for the Royal Jordanian. I'm thinking that or St. Louis. I would love to broadcast that, so I'll have to think about that. Yeah, Grumpy, that's a good point, too, about the MD-11. Into Knoxville? We'll have to see, Matthew. Craig, how's it going? I am well. Thank you for asking. I hope you're well. Another nice day for spotting here in Tucson. A little blustery like yesterday. As this is SkyWest 5833 arriving from Chicago O'Hare. And you can hear the Vipers hissing. What's that? Oh, there they are. I guess they did some morning flying. I didn't expect that. So maybe they'll take a break and be out just after 2 o'clock. Lunchtime. Lunch hour. Lunchtime. So midday is pretty busy for Tucson. We started the show around 2:45 yesterday, but today it should be fairly busy. I know people are like, "Oh, really? Fairly busy?" Well, we get the most amount of arrivals and departures is around midday here, other than the morning time. Kevin Kelly, can you put the email in the captions? Sure, Kevin Kelly. That's a great suggestion. Let's do that. Hi, ERB. Thanks for tuning in, stopping by, sir. Benvindo a un programa, And we'll pin that. There you go, Kevin Kelly, pipsplanespottinglive@gmail.com. United is going to be taxiing in right in front of us, so maybe we might get a pilot wave. We will see. Looks like we got a tiny beacher there. Beechcraft, looks like. What is it, a X400, Q400? Ooh, dang, the Allegheny flight was canceled. Yeah, DFW still dealing with cancellations, David G. Nothing gets done easy in DFW. ERJ 170. Oh, it's a 170. Thank you, Kless. So a few less seats in this beauty. A little more spacious cabin. Maybe not. Welcome in, everybody. So nice to see y'all. It is great to have each one of you. Sorry we couldn't make it to Hawaii. The weather had other plans. I thought I would be okay, but I was wrong. Get that. Robert Brunn, good to see you as well. Thank you, Robert, for tuning in. Yes, that is correct. Grumpy, thank you for that. So what do we have? I posted a show for tomorrow. I don't know what to do, though. I have to get some errands done. Oh, look. Hello. I didn't even see that. We do have an arrival. Next is an A319, I think, from United. From Denver? Or maybe San Francisco. Hey, there is the birthday boy. Happy birthday to you, Scott. Happy birthday to Scott, the big 87. He's 87 years old. I just love making up ages. No, Scott's not 87, but he did have a birthday. Man, we got back-to-back-to-back arrivals. Oh, Matthew Jacob says it's actually from Houston. How about that? I did not expect that, Jacob. Houston. My apologies. So another United will be taxiing in. I guess I should do a better job. Let's do that. So let's do that. All right, next arrival will be a Embraer Phenom 300 from Mexico, south of the border. Then we have Southwest 1156 from San Diego on a 737-700. The Alaska Mariners. We might have to close out the show again, David G, with the Mariners livery again. And and then a 737-800 taxiing out and taking off. Matt, man, happy Tuesday to you. This is like the neighborhood broadcast, the Cheers broadcast from Tucson International, since it's kind of my home base, the old neighborhood airport, Tucson International. Stopping by, hanging out with Norm. So we also behind the San Diego Southwest flight, we've got a CJ2 Cessna Citation from Mexico. Grumpy brings up the point that today's the first day of Southwest assigned seating, so we'll see how people feel about it. Randy says hello. And also, the A319 says hello. Taxiing into, I believe, gate Alpha 9. From Houston. Thank you, everybody, for joining in for lunchtime or evening hour, wherever you might be. Connect that old jet bridge. I do like the location of here because it's right by the gates, so we can say hi to the pilots. Renee, how's it going from West Texas? Renee, how much snow did you get? That is the question. (11:13) in Las Vegas. And Grumpy and David G have been talking about the news of the day. UPS permanently grounding and retiring the MD-11s. I know there were some MD-11s at Roswell because when we were there in 2024, we saw them. So I suspect some of them might go to Roswell, but I don't know. So this is our Southwest flight from San Diego. Roblox, good afternoon to you. Kevin Kelly, you just sent me an email. Excellent. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Saludos, as they say. Welcome, welcome. Bienvenidos. Yeah, we typically have Twin Otters on radar, Uncle Plane Guy, especially in the north. At Pinal or Marana Regional, they do a lot of parachuting. Tim Arnold, what is shaking? Aloha to you, Tim Arnold. Renee says, enough snow for Texas. Renee says, that's enough for the year. Talked to my family in Dallas. They said they were fortunate their pipes did not burst, but my dad slipped on the ice, bumped his head, and hopefully will recover. See, this is what happens, you know, when you get to that age, when you have parents who are like in their 80s, they still want to do stuff. My mom said that if they want to do stuff, we're going to do it. So I don't tell them what to do or help them. Now, Jacob, the guy, asks a good question. Is the flight into and out of Tucson bumpy? It is surrounded by mountains. It is... So, yes, at times it for sure is, especially if there's wind. Absolutely, Jacob. So there's definitely some light turbulence in my experience. I think there's maybe one time I had moderate turbulence, but I'd say probably half of my flights had light turbulence taking off, or landing from Tucson. Great observation, Jacob. Travis, what's going on? How's it going, man? Good to see you. Oh, you're just... I love kids these days. They're like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just streaming Grand Theft Auto and stuff. Good old Tim. We're going to miss him. Tim, do you know when you're going to move up to Denver? Do you have an idea yet? Has your mom said anything yet? Or is she just going to keep us in the dark and then kidnap you one day? Okay, Craig, I will. I for sure will. Well, Roblox, I hope you feel better. Aaron, how's it going? Good evening from the UK. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a CJ2 landing, I think, or maybe it's doing more of those maneuvers from yesterday. Gate City Rail Fan says a couple of C-130s and an E-37B Compass at Davis-Monthan, 10 minutes away. Thank you, Charlie. Aaron, you know, we talked about this on the show yesterday. You could probably pick up one of those used CRJ 200s over there for about $500,000, I bet. Maybe $500,000 or $1 million. You'd have to buy new engines, but that'd be a pretty good little purchase, maybe. It's not a bad suggestion. Welcome to episode 395 Pip Spotting Live. Our next arrival, hey, Atlanta isn't canceled today. Atlanta's back. I'll be arriving in about 20 minutes. And we have a delayed Los Angeles flight. Minneapolis will be arriving in 40 minutes. We got departures to Chicago, Salt Lake City. Oh boy, the CRJ departure is not going to depart for a while. Oopsie. Oh look, they're ready to push back for Chicago already. They are ready to roll. Bunch of winter weather in Greensboro for a change. Gate City Real Fan, if we're able to reach our fundraising goal, I might sneak up for a drive to Greensboro, since it's only, I don't know, 90 miles from Raleigh-Durham. But no promises. Frontier started flying last week to Salt Lake City on Thursday. Matt Man. Yeah, they started last week. They sure did. Twice weekly service. For red flag, probably Craig Smith. I'm gonna ask our friend Aircraft Expeditions for a good location. But yeah, I think that's a possibility. We will be on the road the first half of next month. But then after, if we get to Raleigh-Durham after that, I don't have any travel plans in the immediate future. The Twin Otter Uncle Plane guy says is about to take off. Let's see. Let's check it out. But first, it looks like our Delta connection to LA is taking off. There is Delta connection. All right, Jacob, that's good. Might get a little jet blast with the 175 blocking out. Doing here? What are we doing? So tiny. It's too bright. That's a 172. That's a 172. That's not a Twin Otter. From, I would say, probably about 300 feet. Daniel, life begins at 40. What's up? There's our Twin Otter. That's more like it. There's the Twin Otter. Dang, that definitely, you can definitely hear that. Fly, fly away, as Dave Niehaus used to say. All right. Safe travels to the Twin Otter. Christopher Brown, good afternoon to you. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Aaron, the accidental stream. Well, you can thank American for canceling my flight to make that surprise stream possible. I assume the short will probably take off, Uncle Plane Guy. I don't know if it ended up staying here overnight. But if it did, there's probably a pretty good chance it's going to follow that Twin Otter in a little bit. So I don't know. All right, next takeoff will be Southwest 3910 back to Dallas Love Field on a 737 MAX 8. I think we might start playing a game called Name That Engine, where I get the audio of different planes and see if the audience can correctly name the engine sound. I think that's a pretty good idea. Well, Christopher Brown, thanks so much for that $5 super chat, dude. You rock. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Now we're down to $215. Don't forget, you can also use PayPal, GoFundMe, or Venmo. More of the money goes directly to the channel instead of to YouTube. But thank you, Christopher Brown and Air King Flyer. We're down to $215 for our RDU of needing to raise for our RDU Super Stream with Carolina Aviation. And I think that's pretty doggone great. So Dallas Left Field is where we're headed back. Oh, a 2-in-1 shot. Look at that. I will take it. Happy Tuesday to everybody. David G says he can recognize military engine sounds. Stu, how are you? That rhymes. Kevin, I think he'll be back at DFW either in March or May, is what I'm thinking. March or May, or maybe both, Kevin. So we will see. I have half a day, so we'll see. Yes, it is, Grumpy. The Wookiee sound is a distinct howling or growling noise produced by the Pratt & Whitney 1000 geared turbofan engines. Stu says he knows some military aircraft. Uncle Plane Guy says we hope we get some F-16s here soon. They should be. I saw some flying earlier, but I think they're coming back for lunch, and hopefully they'll be taking off this afternoon, Uncle Plane Guy, because it is night ops here at Tucson International. I would probably say so too, Grumpy. The A220 engines are probably one of the easiest to identify. Well, thank you so much, Christopher Brown. I'm glad that you became a lifelong follower due to thank you very much. Yeah, Mark Davis. The haircut, classic. Oh, man. There's our United to Chicago O'Hare taking off. And Carly with a very generous $5 super chat. Carly, thank you so much. We're down to $210. Thank you, Carly. Very generous of you. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Or, if you are in Australia, a very early Wednesday. Or Japan. Origato. Tinanji, what's going on? Fat Tuesday soon. Mardi Gras just around the corner. Kevin Kelly says, my birthday is February 3rd. Where will we be February 3rd, which is next week? We might actually be either in San Diego, Kevin Kelly, or we might be up in Phoenix. Treasure Maze, what's shaking? So we're down to $210. Needing to raise 10. Now we got another arrival on final. I think it's a small private jet. Yes, it is a Challenger 350 that is arriving next. And I see Delta 937 on descent on the east side of the valley. Should be here in a few minutes, an A321. Somebody asked us yesterday, what is the largest commercial aircraft that does regular service to Tucson, and the A321 would be that aircraft. Uncle Plane Guy asking, when will KLM return to San Diego? I know it's in February. I will have to research that. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe Q might know. Robert Brunn says the best turbo engine was the JT11D, aka the J58 that powered the SR71. All right, we got an ExecJet NetJets 350 here. Jacob says he's going to fly from Tucson and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Where to or from? I think you should try Tucson to San Diego because it's a relatively short flight, a challenging approach, and a cool approach to view. They just don't have any gate space for larger aircraft. Life begins at 40. The largest aircraft they can accommodate is a 757. Grumpy saying the Talon X combustors are the cause of the howl in the A220. And Scott, we were talking about that earlier. Of course, the MD-11's being grounded permanently by UPS. Sad day. But they will not be flying again unless it's to ferry a retired MD-11. Which, you know, I kind of saw it coming. I knew it was a distinct possibility. A321, Travis says, is 2 minutes out. Alrighty, thank you, sir. Is this our Phoenix shuttle? I see our Delta landing gear lights are down. Thank you, everybody who's joining us and subscribing. Appreciate all of you here in Tucson. I have a show scheduled tomorrow. I don't know what quite to do. I thought about doing a walkthrough through the Air and Space Museum, the Pima Air and Space Museum. Then I thought about doing a live show in Phoenix, and I can't decide. Or I thought about just going to bed and sleeping all day tomorrow. So, a lot of good options. Trucker Norm, how are you? Welcome in. Great to have you on board, Trucker Norm. Thank you. Thank you. David G says FedEx is supposed to put their MD-11s back in service in later this year. Scott just wants me to stand outside all day and scan for aircraft at Davis-Monthan. Christopher Brown, probably American Airlines. Probably American. They had the tightest flight. They weren't like taking the entire day. Southwest was like you can connect in Las Vegas or something, or Denver. And Denver in the wintertime is like, I don't know. So this is Delta 937 from Atlanta. It was canceled yesterday due to the weather in Atlanta. Yeah, Scott, there's a lot of pattern work that is done for general aviation pilots who are trying to get their PPLs and ratings. I wonder if FedEx or Grumpy FedEx will buy some of the old UPS planes and say, oh, we're just going to take the parts out of these. That's what I would do. I'd be like, hey, do you want to sell us these? Because we could use the parts. Another nice day here in Tucson. I think we'll be a few degrees warmer than yesterday, in the upper 60s. Southerly breeze today. Again, with some gusty winds, maybe gusts. But another nice day in lovely Tucson, Arizona. Current time, 12:40 p.m. Next departure will be back to Los Angeles on a SkyWest CRJ 700. And then back to Las Vegas about 1:15. Arrivals. Got a little bit of time. Of course, the F-16s will be reportedly taking off later this afternoon. I would say starting about 2:15 or so. David G says, what is my go-to restaurant in Tucson? That's a great question. Oh, that's a nice platis. A go-to restaurant in Tucson. Probably Empire Pizza. They make some good za there. Beef, and Air King Flyer will be like, you got gluten allergies, and I'm like, I know, but sometimes I break the rules. So I would say Empire Pizza or El Charro. There's a barbecue place down on Park Avenue for you locals. That's pretty good. I can't remember the name of it, but it's super close to work. So they make some really good ribs there. I can't remember the name. I got to look it up now. Stand by. It's really convenient if you want to grab something close to the airport. Their pork is the bomb. Like their pulled pork and ribs are the bomb. Brisket's okay. You gotta remember brisket. I have a high ceiling for brisket because I lived in Texas for a few years. Oh, come on. Oh, there's another Pilatus. It's a PPE party, a Pilatus party. You gonna pull the gear up or are you gonna hang it down? There we go. Denny's. Denny's is also really good close to the airport, Scott. That's correct. Scott, Janet, his lovely wife, and I went to Denny's one night. That is correct. Where's my Google Maps? So I've had an Android device for about a month. I don't know how I feel about it. I got to be honest. Still have mixed feelings, but it's okay. No. Let's see. Still have mixed feelings. I'm usually an Apple guy, all Apple, so I'm trying to adjust to the ecosystem. All right, park. There it is. Okay. Mr. K's Original Barbecue. That's it. Mr. K's Original Barbecue. Damon, how's it going? Yes, we've been talking about that all morning. Now, the barbecue place, yeah, Mr. K's on Park Avenue, which is just to the west of the airport. Down to Valencia, you take a quick ride on Park, and it'll be right there. Keith, how are you? Good afternoon to you. Looks like Ops is pretty going pretty fast there. I wonder what is happening. 'Cause he's going fast. I'm intrigued. David G says, I've had Samsung phones for years, won't switch. Yeah, it's tough for me. I've had Apple probably since 2016 as this... What? Phenom takes off. Jonathan Bilbao, well, good afternoon to you, sir. How's it going? Thanks for being a part of the show, Jonathan. Bienvenidos from Chile. I bet it's super hot in Chile right now. On the other side of the world. Scott, what did you think of flaps and racks, Scott? I would love to hear your opinion. Damon, I don't think FedEx will follow suit. I think they are hardcore in on the MD-11. Thank you for being a member for 4 months, Jonathan Bilbao, and supporting. Giving you an update on our schedule. Tomorrow, I don't know what we'll do. I did have a show scheduled just in case we do one. And then next week, I could be persuaded to do just about anything. Next week, David G brought up the fact that the Waste Management Open will be taking place up in Scottsdale, which could be very interesting for private jets. I would have to find a good place to spot up in Scottsdale, and the weather would have to behave. Or we could drive to San Diego. So the world is our oyster. Scott says Flaps and Racks was pretty good. All right, Scott, I may have to try it today or tomorrow. And then in 2 weeks, we might be in Portland, depending on the weather. Portland, Oregon, we had such a good time. I had a blast in Portland, but that was when it was like 70 degrees. So maybe it might be a different story in the winter. But I did like Portland a lot. And then the following week, Valentine's weekend, if we can raise just $210 more, we'll be headed to RDU. Obviously, I'd love to raise more than that. But we'll be headed to RDU for SuperStream with Carolina Aviation. After that, I do not have any travel plans in stone yet. So feel free to share your suggestions. I had somebody say that I should go just be local here at Davis-Monthan for Red Flag. I also had somebody say I should go to Klamath Falls, Oregon for an air show. And somebody else emailed me and said, go back to Atlanta. So, a lot of options. The chicken parm fries. Oh, that does sound good. Robert Brunn says, Scottsdale is not spotter friendly. And yeah, I've heard that too. So if we would go up, Robert, we would probably make sure that we could have some type of arrangement to make it possible. But yes, I have absolutely heard that too, sir. Give me right back. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a little water. David G says Luke days are in March, so that's definitely a possibility. I would like to get to Nashville in March. There was one other place I wanted to get to in March too, but maybe Nashville. Question, let's give you the number one question I get is what is up with all those planes over there? Of course, we talked about it yesterday, but we have a lot of new viewers. So that's Mitsubishi Heavy Industries hangar. That's where they store old CRJs, or they work on CRJs. Yeah. So that is the number one. Question I get. So our next departure is, I think, at the top of the hour. No, it's not. The CRJ to Phoenix is delayed 5 hours, so that's a hard no. It'll be Los Angeles, hopefully, 6393, a CRJ by American Eagle. If I may, Kip Deco. San Diego, please, Kip says. Kip DeCheco. Is it Kip DeCheco? San Diego, we can look at that. Thank you for tuning in from Connecticut. Appreciate you. Wonderful to have you aboard. Pleasant welcome, sir. Richie says hello from lovely UK. Delta 1059 from Minneapolis. Scott says is landing soon on a 737-900. You know, when you do as much live streaming from Tucson, you kind of are familiar with the planes that come in And this week, Delta's flying the 737-900 from Minneapolis. That's kind of cool. Of course, you're wondering, where are the F-16s? We had some right at the start of the show, and we are expecting more in the afternoon in about an hour and a half, I think, if I understood the schedule correctly. If I didn't, my apologies. But yeah, an hour and a half. Sounds good, Jacob. I've accumulated a good bit of flying miles, so maybe we'll pick some interesting locations this summer. I do owe Minneapolis a stream. I have to get to Minneapolis because I owe Minneapolis a live stream, even though I know that there are other streamers, MSP Live, who Friendly Competition does a good job. But I got to get back to Minneapolis because I owe him a stream. But beyond that, the world is our oyster. So, Scott, I do see Delta 1059 there going over Micah Mountain right now on descent out to the east of us. So I'll be here in about 10 minutes. Jacob, I've never heard those abbreviations before. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to wait till there's warmer weather in Minneapolis. Although I do miss the snow. Matt, man, I keep talking to him about coming back to Chicago. And you know how I feel about Chicago. It's where I grew up. I grew up in Naperville, if anybody knows where that is. My sister still lives there. Yeah. So, and you could go to Milwaukee. Yeah, Mattman's hardcore on New Orleans, folks. He, when I talk to him periodically, Mattman will say New Orleans and San Juan, Puerto Rico. Those are his two top choices. Nashville, what I'll probably do, Mattman, is probably use my sister's gift to fly to Nashville if I could find an acceptable fare. So my sister told me for Christmas, to help the channel, she would provide me with one round trip or 2 one-way flights somewhere. So that's pretty cool. Christopher Brown, we have actually done Orlando and we've done Detroit. We did Detroit back in the summer of 2023. That was our last time there. Orlando was actually last year in September. So 2024 in September. And man, was it humid, but man, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I do absolutely have plans to do Orlando. It's just trying to get cross country. Dreambert, what's going on, man? So great suggestions. Keep them coming, folks. I love them. We just got back from Seattle last week. Hope you enjoyed the shows at Payne Field and Boeing Field. Thank you again to Rainy Cajun and his family for assisting us with that special stream at Boeing Field. Big thanks to Rainy Cajun. So yeah, thank you very much. I know he's busy working, but big shout out to him. Brian S., what's going on? So Minneapolis, now I would say 7 minutes out. And then a CRJ will be probably taking off too or blocking out. I'd like to take an opportunity to plug Tucson Airport because it's super easy to fly in and out of here. Parking's cheaper than Phoenix. Security is like 10 minutes, and it's super convenient. I love Phoenix too, but got to give a shout out to the local airport. What? Dreambird, you celebrated your birthday yesterday. Well, happy belated birthday. We're celebrating Scott Kuiper's birthday today. And if you would like to have your birthday added to the calendar, just email me at pipsplanespottinglive and join the birthday brigade. It's absolutely free. And if we were broadcasting that day, we'll announce your birthday and give you a shout out, just like Harry Carey used to do. David G asks, when are we headed back to Sky Harbor? That's a good question. I thought about doing it tomorrow, David G. Just kind of depends what I get done. So I'm thinking back and forth. Tomorrow, China Airlines flies in, as well as Air France. So I don't know, David G. That's a great question. I also could use a day off because basically Sunday was walking around the airport all day. Yesterday, I felt like I had been run over by a truck. Today, I'm doing a little bit better. So we'll see. I put a show up, David G, just in case we do drive up to Phoenix tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm kind of tempted to do a live walkthrough of the Pima Air and Space Museum since it's here in Tucson. That'd be kind of interesting. Something a little different. Mass Fokker, what's going on? How are you? Welcome, welcome. Scott Kuiper says he's turning 29. Oh, that Madman says Scott Kuiper is turning 29. What I would like to do as well is do, last year we were going to do what's called a Pips Powwow, where we all get together at a different hotel airport and just spot. And we were supposed to go to Atlanta, and then I got a job in Tucson. So I feel bad, but Trucker Norm went and sent me some great pictures. But I'd like to do something like that again. We'll see. Grumpy, my lovely truck is a Ford. So that is, so far, actually, no, that's not true. It has been found on the road dead. When we were in San Diego, the battery died. And thankfully, a kind hotel worker helped jumpstart my truck. And I was able to make it to the AutoZone, and then it died. So I was like, well, I guess I need a new battery. Thanks, everybody, for liking and subscribing. Jacob, you got all the abbreviations there. Delta 1059 making its left base final for Minneapolis. It's a 737-900. Hey, there's our friend Mark Bright Spark. Thank you so much, Mark, for tuning in. And we are just $210 away from reaching our RDU Superstream goal of raising $400 to help cover travel costs. Thank you, everybody, for your generosity. So New Orleans. Man, if I go to New Orleans, here's the deal. If we do New Orleans, you have to come with. Because I'm not sold on New Orleans. So I'm going to need somebody to go with me. Nashville we'll definitely do again. But man, you're going to have to come with me if we're doing New Orleans. Deal or no deal? All right, our CRJ going back to LA is on the radar. No, it's not. It's actually the Challenger. Sorry, I misread that. Yeah, we were expecting that Jacob Velo flying to McKinney. I don't know how I feel about that. It could work or it could not. I think here's the deal. Like when I think about a Velo, I think ultra low cost and people that just want a butt in the seat. They just want a seat. If you know McKinney and you know Frisco and Collin County, it tends to be a pretty affluent area. So I honestly think Breeze would do better because they have their quote-unquote business class seats and newer airplanes. So I've said to Breeze before, even when I was working there, you need to go to McKinney. So we'll see what happens. Craig Smith asks, what is your favorite military aircraft in the museum? Oh, shoot. Right now, they have probably the Mars. I think the Mars is out. Can we call that a military aircraft? If not, they have my personal favorite aircraft is at the museum, at the Air and Space Museum, is the Dreamliner. ANA put one of their Dreamliners and donated it to the museum. So there is an actual Dreamliner at the Pima Air and Space Museum, and I love the Dreamliner. That and the A220 are my two favorite aircraft. And you can get right up close to those engines and check out those fan blades along with their wings and everything. So I would have to say that's my number one favorite aircraft. Probably the number two is military, would be the Cobra, which is inside one of the hangars. The Cobra helicopter. I don't know. There's just something that kicks butt about the Cobra. Great question. Great question. So we broadcast here from Tucson because there are a lot of local aviation enthusiasts that are hopefully tuning in, and it's also 5 minutes, 10 minutes from my house. So it's very cheap. I don't have to drive a whole lot. As the Challenger exec jet taking off. And then also, there's our 737-900 from Minneapolis. But I'll tell you, people love the F-16. So if you're patient, we'll give you some Vipers. But yeah, Tucson has about 4 million passengers per year. Why are we looking at the back of a building? Well, this is the terminal. You could look at me if you wanted. I can't do anything about the air traffic here, but there's a lot of cool stuff that comes through here. Like yesterday, we had a Twin Otter and a Shorts 360 come in. All right, what is up on the radar? Oh, yep, there we go. Now we got our Skywest 6393 blocking out, headed to Los Angeles. And you know, I know what people are going to say. There's not a lot of commercial traffic, and you're right. I mean, the most we probably get in 1 hour is 6 arrivals, and that's fine. If that's not your thing, then hey, I apologize. But for me, it's repping my local airport, and it's cheap, so this is a business. This I try and would love to do this full time. So everything I do has to be based off of a cost versus a possible benefit. And doggone it, who else has F-16s live on the air? I mean, Reverse Ops has got F-35s, which of course is freaking awesome, but in Hawaii. But who else has F-16s on a daily basis? Can't think of anybody else. So patience. Don't worry, we'll get to plenty of big airports, and we have. If you're a new viewer, you may not know this, but we've been to 54 different airports and live streamed from them. 54, think about that. And all of them in America. America! AVQ. Christopher Brown says, do you ever go to AVQ? That's right, Scott. You get it. You get it. AVQ. AVQ is what? Marana? Is AVQ Marana? I think that's Marana. Help me out, Christopher Brown. AVQ Airport. Let's see if I'm right. No, that's not right. I'm way off with that. Oh, Marana Regional. I've never gone to Marana Regional, actually. There'd be a lot of general AV traffic, or some. I don't know how much action there would be. Hey, Gail, how are you? Great to see you. And Marana Regional, Christopher Brown, for clarification, that is not the graveyard, by the way. Marana Pinal Air Park, which is just north of Marana Regional, that's where the graveyard is. So I wanted to clarify that. Albuquerque 48 Gabe G says, we lived in Santa Fe for a few months and broadcasting from Albuquerque. Albuquerque's about the same passenger traffic as Tucson, like pretty dang close. Trucker Norm, we're thinking about 2:15 if they run the same schedule as yesterday. So that is what we're thinking. But Christopher Brown, I don't have anything wrong with going up to Marana and standing on my truck, but I'll probably get stopped and be like, what are you doing? And then the sheriff's deputy would be like, why are you here? And there's maybe 1 or 2 flights a day. So it would be a standing tour of a museum, basically. So just keep that in mind. I have nothing against going up there. I just will probably hear a lot of complaints about, why is there no action? Or why can't you get closer? Or so Marana's an untowered airport, and it's basically owned by Ascent Aviation, because they do most of the MRO work, maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Good question. Christopher Brown says, does Tucson ever get heavies? Yes. Do they get them every day? No. We have a FedEx that flies daily during the week, a 767 that arrives around 6-ish, give or take. As we do have a Southwest Airlines pushing back here, give or take a half an hour. And then there's also a FedEx 767. That same 767 will go back to Memphis through El Paso. So it flies to El Paso, and I think then it goes to Memphis. And that's it. Listen, I could share a ton of stuff with you, but long story short, I have an agreement with the airport that I don't share that stuff publicly while I'm an employee. So try and respect them. But yes, In the year, Christopher Brown, that I've lived here, we've had everything from a C-17 to a KC-135 to a C-130 to a 777 to a 767 to a Dreamliner to an Iraqi Airways 777 to a Max Air 747-400 to Kalitta to Atlas 74, Kalitta 74, Eastern 777. It's just not an everyday thing. Air Peace, by the way, Air Peace 777 from Nigeria. So you just have to be patient. Brian, what's going on, man? How are you? Stu makes an excellent recommendation to try the Sonoran dog. Absolutely, I would also recommend that. And Stu, I actually live in Tucson, so I try and eat those once every couple weeks. That could explain my portly figure. I am a local, Stu. That's right. Repping the aviation scene in Tucson and throughout America. Gail Parker asks, when did the museum get the ANA Dreamliner? That's a great question, Gail. I don't know. If somebody knows, please let me know. If we do a live, I'll tell you what, Gail, if we do a live show from the museum tomorrow, I will make sure to find out, because that's my favorite aircraft over there, without a doubt. Hi, Ron, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Yes, Stu, I actually just lived about 10 minutes from here over in the Valencia I-10 area. So, yeah, not too far at all. Oh, we got a chopper. It's coming right for us, folks. My time with you is short. I think it's probably the state troopers helicopter. They do a lot of maneuvers. They do practicing. Tucson Police Department has their helicopters as well. They do a lot of practice. Grumpy says, I can't think of anybody other than the Air National Guard units that they fly, the F-16s. The Navy uses them for training. That's it. Christopher Brown says, March 2015 from the ANA Dreamliner. Thank you for that, Christopher Brown. You the man. Ah, nice, Stu. Excellent, excellent. A couple of buddies work at Bombardier, and a handful of friends work across the flight line at Raytheon. Nice, dude. That's pretty sweet. Well, I don't want to say too much, Stu, but you can add a friend who works at the airport. Here. Gail says, last time. S. Sheezy says, what is the economy of Southern Arizona like now? I think you asked that yesterday. S. Sheezy, yeah, it's Raytheon. It's basically Raytheon, the University of Arizona, and then I think also Davis-Monthan are kind of the big three. Caterpillar has added offices here. That's a big one. But yeah, it's Raytheon, University of Arizona, and Davis-Monthan. Yo, Ride with Ben, what up? Raytheon does a lot of things that are highly classified for the U.S. military. I'll just say that. So if you know, you probably shouldn't say. So I think they sign an NDA when they start working at Raytheon. NDA, non-disclosure agreement. But Raytheon has a bunch of, well, they have their hangar right there. And then they also have a bunch of bunkers over here behind those hangars. What is in those bunkers? I have no idea. But I can tell you that Raytheon is a military company. 110 likes, very cool. Thank you so much, Matt Man. That is very cool. Thank you, everybody, for liking and subscribing. Thank you, everybody, for their generosity and contributing. I think we should see that Southwest take off here shortly. So they must have flow time going to Las Vegas. It's at 7:30, 700. Southwest 2908 waiting to take off there on runway 12. Healthcare, you know, it's interesting. I don't think of healthcare, but there are a lot of hospitals. That's cheesy. I would say there's a good portion of the retired population that lives here just because of the warmer weather. But I don't know much about the healthcare scene. I was thinking about that actually last night. I've said before that in the future, if I end up staying here long term, I'm going to run for political office here at some point, either city council or mayor or whatever. But yeah, I don't know of a whole lot of healthcare companies other than the hospital systems that are here. Which you would think if you want to advance science, you'd probably want to be where a lot of old people are. Older people, excuse me. Hey, thank you so much, Richie, for the 5 gifted memberships, which has a value of $10. So we're now down to $200. We're halfway there to the Carolina Aviation, Pip Hastings Aviation Super Stream that will take place Valentine's Day weekend. We're looking to raise $400 total to help with the travel cost because I will be doing the flying and staying in the hotel along with the broadcasting. So thank you for your support. Thank you, Richie. Stu says Banner is Health is one of the big employers. That is correct. And there goes Southwest Airlines to Las Vegas. Tell you what, we're gonna put together a poll question here. Alan Lee says, good evening from the northeast of England. Well, thank you, Alan Lee, for tuning in. Craig Smith says the ANA was donated in 2015. Thank you, Craig. Christopher Brown also sharing that answer with us. Hans, what's going on from Norway? Give me 1 second here, Christopher Brown. I will answer your question of where would you go internationally. I want to put up that cool question. There we go. All right, today's poll question is, where would you like to see a live stream from? Would you like to see it from Phoenix or the Air and Space Museum here? A walking tour of the Air and Space Museum. And my gosh, will that get my exercise in for Wednesday if I go? That is legit fact. Well, thank you very much, Alan Lee. Putting towards the trip. Now we're down to a lovely $195. Thank you, Alan Lee.
Might want to think about dropping him a thank you note.
Oh, look at this. We got gifted memberships as well. Thank you so much. I didn't catch it. Oh, my gosh. You guys rock. Now we're down to 185. Who was kind enough to gift that? Gail! Thank you so much, Gail. Gifting 5 memberships as well. Thank you, Gail.
Right to jail.
No,
right
no.
away.
Whoops. Sorry, Gail. Wrong one.
Good manners are the glue of society.
Sorry, Gail. I didn't mean to put you in jail. David G says the museum. Pima Air and Space Museum. All right, we got a United pushback in A319. If I do the Air and Space Museum, I'm going to make sure I buy some Dr. Scholl's. Because if you've ever been to the Air and Space Museum, it is big. There's a lot of walking. A lot. Air King Flyer says, Pima, Pima, Pima. Dan Reef says 100% Pima. One of the best in the world. I've been to some great ones. Scott Shaver, how's it going? Happy Tuesday to you. I hear, Scott, you're finally above freezing in Dallas today. 32 degrees. It's Pete Delkus putting that out. Pima holding its own as far as the poll question goes, which is impressive. %56% want to see Pima, 44% Phoenix. Now it's down to 53% Pima. Oh boy, this is a tough one. Yeah, it is kind of odd. It threw me off. See, when I saw it fly in, I thought it was from Denver. So that's what threw me off. Because we usually get the A319. The roads are a mess. Scott Shaver says in Dallas, still defrosting from the winter storm. Again, we are expecting, so far at least, the F-16 to take off in about, I'd say at about an hour. Give or take. Martin Bragg, how's it going? A very wet and cold UK. Martin, I haven't seen you in a while. Doing well? Thank you, everybody, for your generosity today. We're down to just $185. So thank you, Richie, Gail, Alan Lee. Thank you also to Air King Flyer. Thank you to, doggone it, who am I forgetting? Wait for it. There we go. Thank you, Richie, Gail, Alan Lee, Carly, Christopher Brown, Air King Flyer, 604 Lobos, Jonathan Bilbao. Thank you, everybody. So we're going back to Houston with this one, which is interesting. If you do encounter buffering, just be patient. Signal's pretty good here. I would say it's 7 out of 10. The sun is so bright here, too. It's like if you're in the upper altitude, like in Aspen, Colorado or something. Even though it's cold, it's sunny. If it's sunny, it's warm. Because you're so much closer to the sun than like sea level. Interesting side note there. Sorry, I'm just... Apologies there for that minute buffering. Thanks for your patience on that. Apologies. We're here, though. I hope you guys are still there. Apologies. We're here, though. I hope you guys are still there. Apologies. Everybody still there? Hello, hello? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Why are you being difficult today? This is why I hate broadcasting from Tucson, because everything gets hot no matter how cold it is. Anyone still there? Hello? Hello? Can somebody please say hello? Did I lose everybody? Hello? Can anybody say hello to let me know there are people still there? Okay, thank you, Jeff S. Rob. Why am I not seeing the chat? That's weird. Give me a second. Ah, there's the new chat. All right. Miss Wolves, how are you? Rob? Okay, thank you, guys. My chat was closing off and all messed up, but all right. We're here. And we didn't miss anything, by the way. We're still here. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Apologize. That does happen from time to time. The heat. Oh, we got our A319 going to lovely Houston. Thank you, Hans. I'm great. Glad to hear you're doing great. Miss Wolves, glad to hear you are doing fantastic. The old baby bus indeed, Rob. So if you're looking for the F-16s, we're expecting them in approximately 45 minutes, if my schedule holds true. A Diamond from Hermosillo, Mexico. This is our third international aircraft. This E-175 getting ready to block out. If we do a live stream, by the way, the poll question has Phoenix Sky Harbor 57%, Pima Air and Space Museum with 43%. We'll see how that poll question goes throughout the day. If we do Pima Air and Space Museum, I probably will most definitely do it in the morning when it's cooler. So that would be... I have a show scheduled for like 10:15, which sounds like a pretty good time to do a walking tour. Local time, 1:34. And we have TUCSON. Hold on. Scratch that. Is CJ2 getting ready to take off to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. A beautiful place that is only like 50 miles from Spokane. Yeah, Spokane. Yeah, it's crazy, Uncle Plane Guy. Now we got Phoenix winning. It's a toss-up. I don't know when I'll be going back to to Honolulu. I got to get my flight credit first. I still haven't gotten my flight credit, Indy Spotter. American hasn't sent that to me. Christopher Brown has been patient. He asked international airports, where would we like to live stream? Well, for me, I know it gets streamed a lot, but for me, I would love to go to London because I've never plane spotted at London. Another good international airport that I'd like to go to would be either Innsbruck or Salzburg, Austria, because the scenery is just spectacular. I'd love to broadcast from Vancouver. Tokyo, Narita would be awesome. If we could make it happen... Let's see. What's another one? Paris, but Paris is like notoriously difficult to spotters. They don't like them. Toulouse. There's another one. Hamburg and Toulouse. Hamburg and Toulouse. Because, of course, the Airbus factories. And... I'd say Melbourne, Australia. But yeah, Innsbruck or Salzburg is like the out-of-the-box one. Everybody knows the other ones. I mean, Frankfurt, Munich, London, Manchester. But I've wanted to do Innsbruck during the wintertime when all the private jets come in for skiing, or Salzburg. The scenery there has just been gorgeous. I've actually been to Innsbruck and Salzburg on a family vacation, but would love to see aviation action. So there you go, Christopher Brown. Andy Spotter, your birthday's today. Well, a big happy birthday. Ride with Men says Hong Kong or Narita because of variety. Yep, that's a good one. Which makes me think about Sapporo, Japan, because Sapporo's like in the northern island of Hokkaido, and snow definitely adds something beautiful. So I would say Sapporo. I'm just scanning the earth. right now. Mexico City would be a nice close one to do if I could get the coffee company to allow me to broadcast. We'll see about a live show from Nellis, Uncle Plain Guy. We will see. Happy birthday, Indie Spotter. You should have emailed me your birthday. All you got to do is email me at pipsplanespottinglive@gmail.com to be added to the birthday brigade. It's that easy. Scott Kuiper's birthday is also today, and yeah. Scott Kuiper is 104. Hard to believe. Amsterdam, Alan Lee says, has a great viewing area. That's 100% correct. The question is, now that I've had issues with Starlink, I don't know. I'd have to get like a figure out Wi-Fi situation for Europe, because I thought it would be Starlink, but the upload speeds, like when I'm trying to broadcast, are just atrocious. We tried it and it was just all over the place. All right, Richie, thank you for your contribution. Good morning to you. We'll see you again. Thank you, Richie. Have a great night. Yeah, you know what? That's exactly Ride with Ben. That's one of the reasons I brought up Sapporo, is because I read that article about Air Canada starting service to Sapporo. Scott Shaver saying happy birthday from one Scott to another. Oh, Hans brings up a good one. Copenhagen Airport. That's a good suggestion. That's a good suggestion, Hans. Indy Spotter, yeah, Aer Lingus still has Indianapolis. Our Delta 2505 or A22100 will be landing here within the next 10 minutes. Dan Reeves highly recommends Tokyo Narita. There's the King Air. Okay, thank you, Uncle Plain Guy. There's a Cessna 208 Caravan. Kodiak. Thank you, Ride. Thank you, Ben. A Kodiak. Thank you, guys. That's a Kodiak, not a Shorts. My bad. Thank you for correcting me. I see our Delta A220. It's got its landing gear down. I wonder if they have a flow time, so they're just hanging out here. So if it has a flow time, it's parked right here. It's not going anywhere. So it's going to be loud for a little bit. Oh, good, it's finally starting to move. It's finally starting to move. I thought for a while, Scott, it had a flow time, so it was just going to park there until they had a wheels up time for him. But it is now moving. Ah, Indy Spawner says he's going to shovel snow. How can we forget shoveling snow? The thing that makes Midwesterners great. I love a snowblower, one of the best inventions ever. Ride with Ben says, no flow time. United is predicting arrival into San Francisco 32 minutes early. Thank you, Ben. This is our A220-100 from Seattle. This is the flight that I flew back on. Ow! Dang it. Watch how quick I move. That does happen. Watch this. Ha. Record time. No problem, man. Oh, nice, Indy Spawner. You got a plow for your ATV? It looks like a pretty light flight today. My flight was full. It was packed full of people last week. Okay, right now we got a 50-50 tie for Phoenix Sky Harbor and the Pima Air and Space Museum. Dang, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. What do I do? What do I do? It's a 50-50 tie. I see our shorts on radar. I do see that. Thank you, Uncle Plane Guy. I also see another shorts. I see Delta 931 getting ready to take off back to Atlanta. And then, of course, our SkyWest 5583 taxiing back. Trucker Norm says, flip a coin. Rob says, ETA and the Vipers, please. Rob, we, based on the schedule, should be about half hour to 45 minutes. I'm going to text an insider to see if he can tell me. Monica, how are you today? I might have to flip myself, Trucker Norm, to figure out do a backflip. There, I think one time when I was like 13, I was able to do a front flip. Ever since then, it's been downhill. So don't think I'll be doing any more flips. Maybe if it was off of a diving board, I could do a front flip, but otherwise, yeah. Husky on final. I'm looking for it. That's a classic right there. Oh, I see it. No, that's a bird. Where is that husky? I'm panning. I'm looking through the skies, folks. I'm looking. Husky ain't moving fast. The husky is taxiing off before we got to see it. Sorry, guys. The husky is so slow, it only needed to stop like 50 feet. Great to hear, Monica. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, a big thank you again to everybody being so generous. We're only 185 days from reaching, or 185 days, $185 from reaching our Raleigh-Durham Super Stream goal with Carolina Aviation. So what does that mean? We will be broadcasting live with Carolina Aviation and then broadcasting from the East Coast. Thank you, Alan Lee, Gail Parker, Richie Cantillon. And here goes Delta. Back to the ATL. At A321 going back to the ATL. I've never seen a flight, by the way, for that flight under $400. It's like always over $400 to go direct from Tucson to Atlanta. Also, thank you to Christopher Brown, Carly B, 737, Air King Flyer, 604, Lobos as well. Thank you guys for your generosity. Yeah, so it's 5248 Pima Airspace Museum and Phoenix tomorrow if we do a live stream. I got to see how I feel in the morning or tonight. Monica, we would love to come back to Nashville. We have plans to this year. I'm thinking either next month or April when it's not too warm yet. But that depends on a lot of things. So stay tuned, but we will work on seeing if we can get back to Nashville. All right, so our updated list of departures shows our first departures for the F-16s in about 10 to 15 minutes. And here goes United Express off to San Francisco. Craig Mack, love your stuff. Well, Craig, thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you, man. Glad to have you join us, and thanks for the kind words. Yeah, I'm already getting sunburn on the neck, on the side of my neck that has no coverage. That's one thing you need to remember if you fly into Tucson. It may be 65 degrees today, but the sun is still the same distance from Tucson, which means it gets hot and the sun is at 1,500. No, we're about 2,600 feet here, which means the sun is that much closer to you, which means it's way easier to get sunburn. Holy cow! Holy cow! Flyer KG 436 $10 super chat. Hey, I'm in shock. Oh, there's the shorts. Hold on. I'm in shock, Flyer KG. Thank you so much for your contribution. Yeah, there are 2 shorts apparently. Thank you, Ride with Ben. You saw these arrive. One of them arrived yesterday. Oh, there's another nice 2-shot. Sweet. Big thank you to Flyer KG 436 for your $10 super chat.
You might want to think about dropping him a thank you note.
He says, "Hi Pip, here's a little bit to get you to Raleigh, Durham. Safe travels. Thank you very much. We're down to $175 now, thanks to the generous contribution of Flyer KG." So again, if you're just joining us, the F-16s are going to start taking off in just a few minutes, and should have about 15 to 20 of them within the next hour. That according to my sources. So let's do the count. If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And yeah, so about 18. There we go. Ian, what's going on? How are you from Scotland? I was talking about Edinburgh from a friend, and she really wants to go visit Edinburgh. Greg, what's going on? Welcome, Greg. So yeah, 16 to 18 F-16s taking off in the next hour. So thanks for your patience. And when they take off, let me know how the audio is. We don't want your speakers to blow out, but they will be extremely loud. Spoiler alert. All right, we got another shorts getting ready to take off, and then the Cessna M2 that was doing touch and goes as well. Been doing a lot of work the past couple of days. Probably certifying repairs. And in case you didn't hear the news, UPS has decided to retire all their MD-11s. So you won't see them flying any more cargo flights. That was announced today. FedEx still expects to run theirs, but things could change. Flyer KG says the Shorts 330s, or the SD-3-30, was also used by the U.S. Army, designated as the C-23 Sherpa. Steven says, watch it from the UK. Great footage. Thanks, Steven. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. Alan Lee says, when I worked ATC, we called the Shorts the Irish Design Concorde. That's the Irish Design that deserves a laugh track right there. that's pretty funny. Uh-oh, David G says the Mariners are delayed again, or I should say the Mariners livery is delayed again. Ian says, in Scotland, I live near Prestwick. We get many U.S. military movements, C-17, C-5, KC-135, KC-46. Always good to see. Dang, man. That's awesome. That's what I was wondering, too, Ben, is Ben points out, will UPS get ferry permits to ferry them? Oh, here's the second Shorts. I was wondering if FedEx might buy them, Ben, since FedEx hasn't announced whether or not they're going to keep theirs. But just a random thought. So, love that. 2 Shorts today. We saw a Twin Otter, 2 Shorts, a King Air, and now we're getting ready for our F-16. So, again, if you're patient here at Tucson, you'll see some really cool stuff. It doesn't happen all at once, so you got to, like, bring nachos like you're on a stakeout or a pizza. But it does happen, so you just got to be patient. Vaughn Williams, yo, Pip and crew. What's going on, Vaughn? Happy Tuesday to you. Right now, oh, look at this. Pima Air and Space Museum back in the lead, 53% to 47%. This is a tough one. I got to get some grocery shopping done first, and that might lean towards Pima Air and Space. Or later in the day tomorrow, we could do a night show from Phoenix. Since I don't work super early, I work middays now and into the evening. So this is going to be a tough one. Got to decide. So I don't know. It also would be nice to catch up on a haircut. I haven't had a haircut for a long time. Not that I have much hair left, but you know the feeling after getting too much hair, you don't feel the same. Once you get a haircut, you feel like a brand new person. Ride with Ben says the steak nachos for the stakeout. Yes. And also Sonoran corn dog. I said corn dog. I meant hot dog. But I think they also do Sonoran corn dogs at some of the restaurants, too. Ian says, Pip, did you look into the DM overflights? Yeah, it's tough to kind of see Ian from where we're located. I can see him in the distance, like the C-130s, but we're still about, I don't know, 5 or 6 nautical miles away. So it's a little tough to see. Yeah, Uncle Plane guy saying we had 2 Goshawks yesterday landing here. And there's our CRJ 200s. The for all intensive purposes, I think that's a graveyard over there for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries to use for parts. Yeah, the Sonoran dog is one tasty dog, especially when you do like a chili pepper in there and then some bacon along with that. Flyer KG, très bien. Or, as they say in Spanish, muy bueno. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ian, I got you now. Yes, sorry. I actually, you know what, Ian? I contacted a local pilot who I work with. He is a owner of a plane, and he said he would be totally up for doing an overfly. So it kind of worked out. We're just kind of scheduling the right time. But Ian, yeah, I mentioned it to him, and he's like, yeah, dude, I'm totally down. I'll take you up. So I'm just waiting on that. But thank you for reminding me. Rod Moyes, what is up, Rod? How's it going? Good to see you, Rod. Rod, if we end up going to San Diego next week, I don't know yet. But if we do, I might do like a Tuesday morning stream from Carlsbad. But we'll see. I might hang around here for the Waste Management Open up in Scottsdale. But I got to find a good spot to get to and coordinate. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated, Rod. Okay, so Ride with Ben giving us some insider info. Ben says, SkyWest recently rescued one of the CRJ 700s, an ex-Hop, and converted it to a CRJ 550. And I saw that plane, Ben, at the SkyWest hangar, and I was wondering what it was doing. So thanks for the inside info. And Rod Moyes gifting a membership to Missy. Thank you so much, Rod. Appreciate you.
I want to think about dropping him a thank you note.
$173 is where we currently stand after Rod's generous contribution. Thank you so much. On raising $400 to go cross-country to RDU. Obviously, if we can raise more than that, perfect. But that is the goal I've set for February 11th to help with travel costs. To go do a super stream with Carolina Aviation, weather pending. Of course, if the weather is bad, we will reschedule. But cross your fingers for Valentine's Day weekend that will have good weather. The flight is booked, by the way. So I'm hoping we can achieve it. And I'll be flying out of Tucson through DFW over to RDU, to Raleigh-Durham. So thank you, Rod. Man, you thought the Sonoran dog was an actual breed? An actual breed of dog. Thank you. Nicely done, man. Okay. No F-16s yet, but yeah, according to the schedule, they said 1,400. Lick French plane spotter coming to Tucson this April, and I wanted to spot near the fire station. Do you know what kind of ladder should I take? Great question. A normal, yeah, and I think the Goshawk is landing here. A normal ladder, I would say, 8 feet tall. Lick should do well. The fences are about, with the barbed wire, probably 8 feet tall, I would guess. So if you can find a ladder that'll give you an additional 3 to 4 feet, you should be in good shape. All they ask, the police are super cool here. All they ask is that the ladder isn't right on the fence. That's the only thing they ask. But police tend to be pretty cool. So that's what I would say. Yeah, I'm trying to look for that Goshawk. Where did it go? I thought it was going to land here. So again, we're waiting on our F-16s. Don't worry, they'll be here. No problem. I hope you enjoy your spotting trip out here. Also, wait. When are you coming? In April? Okay. April shouldn't be too bad. Expect the temperature to be in the low 90s. Or Celsius, that would probably be about, what, 30 degrees? 30 degrees Celsius? I think there's our goshawk right there. Making a left base turn. Yep, right there. We saw 2 of these yesterday. I'm surprised I haven't heard the engines from the F-16s. The Navy training aircraft right here. Sounds good, Lick. Maybe we'll see you. Awesome. I do see a lot of spotters, to be fair, out here. Nice little spotting community. There it be. Oh, only a day in Tucson. Okay. Remember that the F-16s typically will fly during the week only. So Saturday and Sunday, they don't normally fly unless it's drill weekend, which is usually the first weekend of the month. So remember that. They're only usually during the week. The Pima Air and Space Museum is awesome. You will enjoy it. Okay, good. Thursday should be a good day for you then, Yoke. Come on, Vipers. Where you at, dog? Yeah, I have a schedule showing from my insider. First ones are at we're at 2 o'clock. We're past that. Then we got 2:25. 2:30, 2:40, 2:45, 2:50. Yeah. Looks like a little bit of different paint scheme than I'm used to, which is rad. Thank you, everybody, for liking and subscribing. Ah, it's capable of carrier landing. That's pretty rad. I didn't know that. That will probably go park on the Cochise ramp, or maybe it'll go to Executive Air? Ah, it sure does. Does have a tail hook. Good eye, Grumpy. I'm keeping my ear out for the hissing sound of the Vipers. Here we go. After a delay, here we go. F-16s and down the runway. Ready, set, go. There we go. Get things started. Yeah, it'd be really cool if they put like streamers on the wings or something, or had bottle rockets shooting off. That would be cool. Oh, Dan Reeves says, if you ever get to a Navy training base, you'll notice the carrier markings on the runway. It's awesome watching them practice. Have not been to a Navy training base, Dan, so thank you. I'll probably have to do that. And if we go to San Diego, I drive right by El Centro. So, may have to take a detour. I have some good connected friends, Luke. They just say that. Yeah, it's not, I don't know how to explain it. I just know I don't have enough information to share it. That's all I know. So that I cannot share. There's some things I can share. There's some things I cannot share. So we should have a few more in 10 to 15 minutes. So like I said, 16 to 18 here in the next 45 minutes or so. Flyer KG says you'll see a pretty good mix of aircraft at El Centro. Blue Angels are in winter training there. Thank you, Flyer KG. Yeah, I've always, KG, every time I drive down Interstate 8, just past El Centro, I'm like, do I have time to stop? Do I have time to stop? No. Do I have time to stop? No. So, and the other thing is El Centro is extremely hot. So winter would be the perfect time to stop by and be like, all right, I've got some time. Yeah, unlike San Diego, which has beautiful coastal breezes and cooler temperatures, El Centro is below sea level and is hot and humid. So I'm like, look, I have plenty of questions to ask. What part of France are you at? Because we were talking about international airports we'd love to broadcast from, and I mentioned Paris and Toulouse, and even Nice. Yep, it is definitely below sea level. So it's like, it's like a humid balloon, humid bubble. El Centro has some of the best agriculture in the country. I'd love to hear the take on France, because, like I said, Paris, Toulouse, Nice. Très bien. Yeah, see, and Dan Reeves brings up a good point. Spotting France in France, spotted, frowned upon, if not illegal in some places. And that's what I wondered too. Technically, you're not supposed to, but the cops are chill. I never had any issues. Okay. Thank you, Lick. That's... Je ne parle pas français. I wanted to learn French, Chinese, and Arabic. Yeah, actually, no, scratch that. French, Chinese, Arabic, and Japanese. Civil airports won't get you in any trouble. Okay. That's good to know. We've got an American from DFW on an A320. Is downwind from runway 12. And our next F-16s, Vipers, will be taking off probably, I don't know, in 10, 15 minutes. The fever dream, huh? All right, in the meantime, we'll do some construction spotting. This guy is going super fast at approximately 4 miles per hour, maybe 6. I love it. So yes, if you're a new viewer, I am based here in Tucson. It's where I live, but we often broadcast from Phoenix and the West Coast. We travel. We just got back from a trip last week. We were supposed to go to Hawaii this weekend, but my flight got canceled. So I decided not to rebook just because it didn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm waiting on my flight credit to come back to me. In the meantime, we were in Seattle the previous week at Boeing Field and Payne Field. And we even snuck in some Seattle SeaTac parking garage spotting. Ian says at some local airports in Paris, you have to apply to the local police for a permit to watch spot aircraft. Thank you, Ian. David G says, Pip, is Terminal 4 parking garage at Sky Harbor better to plane spot than Terminal 3? That depends, David G. It depends which flow they're on. If you are, and also depends on what you want to watch. If you want to watch departures, depending in the morning, you will probably want to watch departures in the morning from Terminal 3 or Terminal 4. If you are watching departures in the afternoon, you probably want to be from Terminal 3 on the south side. On the north side, arrivals in the morning, you probably want to be Terminal 3. In the afternoon and evening, you probably want to be Terminal 4. So it kind of depends which one you want to go to. Or what you want to see, I guess is the better way to put it. I see our American A320. I think. Where is it? There it is. I've located it. The camera needs to focus in slowly, and it does. Yeah, it honestly kind of depends on what you're looking to see. Oh, you can do the jump seat? Just anybody can fly the jump seat? Hey, that's pretty cool. You have to apply, though, to fly the jump seat, right? No, there's more. There were 2 F-16s, Grump, and they just seem to be a little delayed today. But there's more, I promise you. I'd be shocked if there weren't. So yeah, we'll see a lot more in here in the next few minutes. But they're very regimented on schedule. Oh, that's cool, Lick. Well, Air France flies out of Phoenix, so that's pretty awesome. So we've got a friend in France. Thank you so much. Bonjour. Yeah, but they're definitely taking their sweet time today. Not like the military to be slow. Oh, really? Look, your dad is a 170 and 190 pilot for Hop. Sweet. We've got like 2 CRJ 700 Hops, or 1 left from Mitsubishi over here, and we got another arrival on final. Where are you? Final arrival. Yes, it is United 351 to 737-800. Oh. This looks like a Piper Meridian. That's my guess. I said it looks like. I don't know if it is. Or a Tibum. A Tibum. A Tibum. But yes, we do have United Airlines right there. Stephen Kurt says United States Air Force F-16s often fly into RAF Lakenheath and RAF Mildenhall for flights ops with the resident F-15Es and F-35s. And right now, the Pima Air and Space Museum is back ahead with a 53 to 47% advantage over the Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. What is up, Lot Boy? It is a Piper PA-46 Meridian. Okay. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure if it was a Tibum or a Piper Meridian. Grumpy says the main motto of the U.S. Armed Service is hurry up and wait. After 32 years of the Army, rest assured that's correct. Thank you, Grumpy. Hurry up and wait. Yes, that sounds about right. Nice, United. Lick says, do you know if spotters at TUCSON are usually looking to trade patches? Some might. Some might be interested in trading. That's a great question. This is most interesting. Oh, here we go. More F-16s ready to roll. Fire away. Pew, pew, pew. Those had the afterburner rolling on those. Indeed. Another 2. Ride with Ben says Hawker 750 from Dallas on final. Ooh, my weenus is starting to get a little red. Yeah, I probably got some sunburn today, especially the left side of the neck. Whoops. I'm just going to pretend I didn't see that chat. Glad you're enjoying the action, Stephen Curd. Yeah, I'll probably have a little bit of sunburn. There is that Hawker. I have seen the afterburner at night. We actually saw it probably a month ago when the United Dreamliner, it was cloudy and early in the morning, so it actually worked out well that we saw the afterburner in motion. $168 likes. Thank you so much, Matt Man, for that. And thanks everybody for liking and subscribing on a busy Tuesday. Glad to bring you the action from the home airport of the Pipster. So we might do a show tomorrow either at the Pima Air and Space Museum or Phoenix. We might not. If we don't do a show tomorrow, we will be on the air this weekend. Most likely, I honestly don't know. That makes no sense. But I got to coordinate if we're going to spot in Scottsdale to see if we can figure out a spot that'll be acceptable. Otherwise, we'll probably be in Phoenix or the west coast of California. I've only been to France on a layover. Hey, let's watch this 737-800 taxi in. Up close and personal. Have not yet been to Luke, Nick, but at some point we will be going to Luke. Yes. Road on the north side of Luke. Okay, got it. Thank you, lot boy. Appreciate that. Man, I've never seen, honestly, I've been here a year and I've never seen F-16s this far behind schedule. I guess, like I said, be patient. Oh, good for you, Leek. First time. Jacob, welcome back. Just went to the store. Back now. Did you, Oh. It is time for more F-16s. Stand by for power. That's 7 F-16s in case you're keeping count. No, David G, I did not. That's all right. I'm enjoying here, Tucson. Fire away. Keep those babies coming. Thank you for joining us on the show. They usually will fly mornings and midday, but there's 1 week a month where the F-16s will fly at night and afternoon. I'm sure they are, Grumpy. A lot of people love those. Mesa Gateway spotting. Yes. Yeah, that's something we talked about, lot boy, Tim Arnold with. Got to have the right weather, so we need a cloudy day since it's, there's no shelter or shade. Hey, Michelle Dietrich, I'm glad I found your stream and love watching planes take off at our airport. Well, thank you, Michelle. I am a local yokel. You could say I'm based here in Tucson, so thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome, welcome. You know, that is what I'm thinking, Michelle. I'm thinking we'll be streaming Heritage Week. I've had a lot of requests for the Heritage Week flying, so last year I had just moved to Tucson, so I wasn't too familiar with everything, but this year I'm a little more familiar. So yeah, we probably will be here for Heritage Week. For those who don't know, I actually have a full-time job. This I do on my days off for fun and education and a side hustle that I hope I can make full-time one day. But yeah, so my days off are typically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and occasionally, like, we were supposed to be in Hawaii actually today, Michelle, but my flight got canceled in Phoenix on Sunday, and I was exhausted, tired, and I said, you know what? I just want to go back home because it didn't make sense because it was going to be a short trip. So it is actually, I guess, a blessing to be here in disguise. Rigoberto Juarez. Buenos dias, or buenas tardes, I should say. Another American flying in from, I bet, Chicago, David G. Let me look. But yeah, our plan is to most likely be here for Heritage Week unless something amazing comes in. So that is actually an American 2768 from Phoenix on an A319. Michelle says Heritage Week is absolutely awesome. Thank you, Michelle. I hear that from a lot of people. So we'll do what we can when we can. I'm going to pray for like cloudy and 65 degrees. Hey, Ritzy Mink, what's going on? How are you today? Doing well? Just in the middle of F-16 action. And this A319 from Phoenix, from American Airlines. Ritzy Mink, what's going on in the great metro area of Chicago? Tired as usual. That's me. I'm catching up from all the stress of Sunday. Very cool, Michelle. That's what I hear. The F-35 and some other aircraft. Matthew Chesterton says, I'm flying the Sun Country Tide Pod on Sunday. Sweet. Matthew, where are we headed? Safe travels? I bet I'm going to take a wild guess and say someplace probably warmer than Minneapolis. Just a wild guess, though. Ritzy Mink says it's cold as crap. Meanwhile, Ritzy Mink, I'm getting sunburn here in Tucson. And I even have a hat on today, but the left side of my neck is not covered, and that's facing the sun. So 3 hours in the sun, getting some side neck action. That is the one plus for Phoenix, if we broadcast from Phoenix tomorrow, is the shade. I will definitely be digging the shade. Ah, nice. The Cape for Artemis 2. Very cool, Matthew. I hear a lot of people are headed down there. Christian Perry, what's going on, man? Luke Air Force Base, USA Open House and Air Show, March 21st and 22nd. Thank you a lot, boy. Put that on. Okay, I'm putting that on the calendar right now, actually, lot boy. Artemis 2. I hear a lot of people are headed that way. That's very cool. Matthew. Yes, Michelle, especially in Tucson. Sunscreen is very important. I think we should have some more F-16s. I've got a little GA single engine plane landing, and then I think we should have some more F-16s taken off. Grumpy says only 59 degrees in Las Vegas. That sounds lovely. Ritzy Mink says when I was helping with the PGA Tour, I got sunburned. That's kind of, yeah. Yep, that sounds about right. I haven't put too much effort into wearing clothes today because I haven't even showered yet. So, not that you guys want to know that, but I haven't put too much effort. So after today, I'll probably go home, shower, get lunch, a late lunch, or maybe eat dinner. Maybe get a lunch-dinner combo. Dinner. And, yeah. Go to maybe a chiropractor. Because looking at a screen, looking down at a screen for 3 hours, it takes a toll. And then I'll be just hanging out tonight. I'll be deciding, should I do Pima Air and Space Museum or Sky Harbor? All right, we got Delta 1101 getting ready to go back to Minneapolis, 737-900. Still waiting for more F-16s. Dunch instead of Linner, Ben says. Dunch instead of Linner, lunch and dinner. But he says dinner and lunch. So Dunch. More F-16s headed our way right now. They have pushed the ignition throttle. It's up to 9 F-16s for you. Thanks for your patience in watching those beauties. Mattman says the Blackhawks play Minnesota tonight. Maybe, Mattman, they'll score more than one goal. So let's go for that. Oshkosh, Craig. Oshkosh would take a lot of planning and some time off, Craig. I would love to broadcast from Oshkosh. But here's the dilemma I have. I have a great job with benefits, full-time pay. If I were to do this on my own, I would 100% depend on advertising revenue and contributions of you great followers. And so there's kind of a number I have in mind where I would consider doing this full-time, like your average daily revenue. And we have not hit that point, so I want to be careful. So eventually one day, Craig. So thank you, everybody, and I've got more F-16s for you. So I'll zip my lip. All right, make that 11 F-16s today in the last hour. Southwest 737-700 on final, Ben says. So thank you, everybody who's tuned in and contributed today. We're only $173 away from reaching our RDU goal to travel cross country to do a super stream with Carolina Aviation. And thank you so much, everybody, today. So that means Rod Moyes, Flyer KG 436, Gail Parker, Alan Lee, Richie Cantillon, Jonathan Bilbao, Carly B 737, Christopher Brown, Air King Flyer 604 Lobos. Thank you, everybody, for your generosity today and yesterday, and on Sunday as well. Really appreciate all of you. Sorry we couldn't get to Hawaii, but we will do it again. Yeah, Ben is right, Dan Reeves. There were tons of people live streaming from Oshkosh last year. Southwest Airlines landing right here. Ba-dum-ba-dum. from Denver, Colorado. Thank you, Greg. Thanks, everybody, for hitting that like button and subscribing. So we're, what did we say? We're up to 11 or 12 F-16s? Getting ready to take off. Delta 1101. Headed back to Minneapolis. Ready to roll. And then it'll be Delta 2251 and A220-100 going back to SeaTac, where we were last week. Maybe I'll just drive up to Marana tomorrow. I've only, like, driven by once, because I'm afraid I'll get stopped. But, you know. Minneapolis is where we're going. David G says, go interview the Southwest passengers and say what they thought of their seat assignments. That's actually a pretty good suggestion, David G. I like that. That's good news right there. Flyer KG says there's insane traffic at Oshkosh, which is accurate. They bring in like extra air traffic controllers for that specifically. So yeah, that is legit. Too legit to quit. Roger that, Dan. I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe I'm just getting a little jumpy. I miss my morning schedule for work. I work 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. now instead of 7 to 5. All right, our A220. I wonder if they're waiting for a couple more F-16s, but we will see. We'll be here for a little bit longer, maybe 3:15, and then the sun's gotten enough of me today. So, and I'd kind of like to shower, so that would be nice. Yeah, I've been in the sun for 3 hours now, so I think my body on the left side is quite toasty. I have seen that movie, Booyakacha. How busy is Pima? Well, Pima is a museum, so the actual museum, it just depends. Like during the good season, like where it's cool out, it's really busy, honestly. Booyakacha, good to see you, by the way. So Pima is open pretty much 8:30 to 5, I think. As we get... let's see if we can catch those F-16s if they're going to show up. Oh, yep, maybe. Nope, yep. There we go. No problem, Booyakacha. Pima was your vote. So Pima holding a slight edge over Phoenix Sky Harbor. And I have to say, if we do a show at Pima, a walking tour tomorrow, it will try and be early in the morning. So I won't want to party too hard tonight, just because I really don't like the sun burning my face off. Roger that, Ben. Let's get that A220 moving. I do love the A220, my two favorite aircraft, A220 and the Dreamliner. Give me, come on, TUCSON, give me 3 more F-16s. Andrew, what's up? Does Pima Air and Space Museum have the Sophia 747 SP open these days? It's still there, Andrew. I don't know if it's open, so if we do the tour, I guess we'll have to find out. But it is still there, by the way. And if we end up broadcasting from there tomorrow, I'm going to make sure and ask at the front desk, are there any planes we can actually go inside? No car horns yet, Matt, man. That is that's a good observation. We had 3 yesterday go off when the F-16s. And I think part of that too, Matt, man, is because only 2 of the planes have used afterburners to take off. So that's what I'm going to say. Lick, that is correct. Lick, that is correct. We typically only have night ops 1 weekend a month. And this is the week. Now, this month is a little different because of the New Year's holiday. I think usually it's the 3rd week that they do night ups here at TUCSON for the Air National Guard. In France, it's every Tuesday and Thursday for night ops. This is great information, Leek. Come on, give me 3 more F-16s. That's all I need. Hit that on the bingo card. No, not landed, even though that's great. Gotta ask my boy Tink what's going on. Oh, there goes the A220. Mingus Menzies? Are you messing with me, Ben? As you leave for the day? That's right. There's your baby, the A220. There you go, Andrew. You and me both, dude. All right, I'm gonna give the Air National Guard 10 more minutes, and then I'm gonna call it a day. So cross your fingers, folks. We can get a few more F-16s out the door. Ah, well, thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you. I appreciate that. Buy everything. Watch the entire ad. Buy everything. Come on, 3 more F-16s. 3 more. Amen. Amen, Buyukacha. I'm hoping they get better, the Pratt & Whitneys, but you're right. They have a few issues. Come on, 3 more. 3 more F-16s. So I will let you know what we end up doing tomorrow, probably tonight, as long as I get a good night of sleep. I mean, either way, I'll have to be up early if we drive to Phoenix or if we do the Pima Air and Space Museum. Right now, Pima Air Space Museum, 53% to 47% on the vote. This weekend will be either in San Diego or back here in Phoenix and Scottsdale. Following week, we have a flight booked to Portland. Well, that'll be dependent on the weather. And again, a big thank you to everybody who was kind enough to contribute to towards the RDU Super Stream with Carolina Aviation and additional broadcasts from across the country. We are only $173 away from reaching that goal. Thank you, everybody. All right, Craig, thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. I'm giving the Air National Guard 8 more minutes. And then I'm hungry, and I'm going to have me... You know what? I'm going to have me some Denny's, I think, tonight. That'd be a perfect dinner or dunch. There's a Cirrus. I think we're going to do that game show of Name That Engine. Or Name That Plane. Why don't we do Name That Plane? That would be easier. Because I am not an engine expert. I'm more of a plane enthusiast. Some people are engine enthusiasts. Some people are other enthusiasts. I'm more like plane enthusiast. So we'll do Name That Plane at some point. Let's see, while we're waiting, if I can name all 54 airports that we broadcasted from. So there's Santa Fe, Albuquerque, El Paso, Tucson, Phoenix, San Diego, Orange County, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Jose, Oakland, Portland, Seattle, Painfield, Everett Field, Boise, Idaho, Bozeman, Montana, Salt Lake City, Provo, Denver International, Eagle County, Colorado, Pitkin County, Colorado, Aspen. Then it is, let's see, New Mexico. Then we go to the Midwest, Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Chicago O'Hare, Chicago Midway. Then down to Grand Rapids, over to Grand Rapids, Detroit, Cleveland, Columbus, Ohio, John Glenn, Cincinnati, Memphis, Oklahoma City, Dallas Love Field, Addison, DFW, the JRB, San Antonio, Austin Bergstrom, Houston Hobby, Houston Intercontinental, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando International, Tampa, Atlanta, Charlotte. I think that's it. Yeah. That sounds like it. I might have missed one or two. I always usually do. But that sounds about right. Love Grand Rapids. What's up, James? I didn't do, you know, the funny thing is I didn't do a trip report. I probably should do that, huh, Andrew? But no, I just did live streams. I should probably do a trip report. Hawaii was going to be, I think, 55 if I did the math correctly. Oh, I know which airport I forgot. Carlsbad. Carlsbad. How could we forget lovely Carlsbad, California? Can't forget that. All right. Air National Guard's got 3 more minutes. We check out that King Air. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around, being patient for those 12 F-16s. Bow, I'm hoping so. Andrew says, Will Rogers Airport is an underrated gem. Yeah, I quite like OKC, Will Rogers. So I'm going to play our outro music just in case. David G says we got a Goshawk landing in a few minutes. Probably should do this more often. It is like the sun is definitely burning my face. Hey, but you know what? That's okay, because everybody loves living down here. All right. Thank you to Rod Moyes. Thank you to Flyer KG 436, Gail Parker, of course, Alan Lee. Thank you, Air King Flyer 604 Lobos, Christopher Brown, Carly B 737. And also thank you to Jonathan Bilbao, Richie Cantillon for your contributions. Thank you, guys. We're going to have the Goshawk maybe end the show. I see the Goshawk. So we'll watch closely. And we'll see about tomorrow. See what happens with tomorrow. But we're only $173 away from going to RDU. We have 2 weeks to raise that money. So a big thank you for everyone. You guys all rock. We'll stay for the T-45 because it looks like it's landing. Thanks, Batman. Thanks. Thanks, Batman. Thanks. I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper from Tucson International. Thanks, Batman, for all you do. Do, 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 do. Sorry, I'm a horrible rapper. There's the T-45. There's the T-45. All right, we'll wait for this landing. 9 more likes to 200. So close. Oh, man. Dropping beats. Dropping beats. I am a rapper extraordinaire. My nickname is Slim Shady. I'm going to talk to the general or the colonel over the Air National Guard and ask, what's going on, man? Thank you, Flyer KG. Thanks, guys. And closing out the show is this lovely T-45 Goshawk. Appreciate y'all. We'll see about tomorrow, but it looks like Pima Aerospace Museum won the vote, 52-48. What a close vote with 120 votes. Thank you very much, everybody liking. Thank you, Captain John Dude Pilot. And thank you to this T-45 for closing out the show today. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all of you so very much. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow. We'll keep you up to date. Later, everybody. Appreciate it. See ya. Bye-bye.